Hi guys, this is day 2 of Mr. Raphael's sketching and drawing challenge. So today we've got a new type of pictorial view for you to practice. And as you can probably guess from the drawing I'm showing you just now, it's going to be a 1-point perspective. As the same in the last tutorial, I'm going to give you 3 levels of difficulty for this. So at the moment we've just got isometric, 1-point perspective cubes. I'd say that's getting a level 1 difficulty, but I'm going to give you a couple more challenges. So we'll start off with some 1-point perspective cubes and then we'll ramp up the challenge for you. Right guys, let's dive straight into this. So 1-point perspectives. So when we're starting a 1-point perspective, same as all types of perspectives, we need what's called a horizon line. So the horizon line basically symbolises the horizon. If you imagine lying on the beach, looking out to the sea where the sky meets the sea, that would be your horizon line. And the idea is that anything that sits above the horizon line, you're going to see more of the underside of it. Anything that's below the horizon line, you're going to see more of the top of it. And if you've got something sitting right on the horizon line, you're not going to see the top or the bottom of it. So guys, we've got my horizon line here. Everything should be nice light construction lines just now until we're sure of the shapes that we've got. So I'm going to put a vanishing point right in the middle there. Nice little vanishing point, doesn't need to be football sized. The only people that really needs to see your vanishing point and your horizon line is you. So nice light lines. Right guys, so let's get on with our first 1-point perspective cube. Using a ruler today, hopefully you've maybe got a ruler at home. If not, you could use any kind of straight edge. Good thing about a ruler is you can use the top and the bottom of it to get your lines absolutely parallel. I'm going to use both sides here. So when I'm trying to get my square, I'm actually looking at the edges of my paper, making sure that my ruler's parallel to the edges of my paper. And that should keep my squares nice and in line. So I'm going to do one in the top right. I'm going to do one right on the horizon line and bring that one in a little bit. So nice light lines just now. And I'm going to do one below the horizon line as well. Bring this one out here, I think, make it a slightly different shape. So 3 squares drawn, or 3 rectangles. One of the points when you're doing a 1-point perspective is you can almost draw any shape, and you would just draw the shape as if it was a front elevation. So just as if it was straight in front of your eyes. Any shape you want. You know, this works for triangles, circles, dodecahedrons, anything you want. So we're just in a nice simple cuboid just now. So the next point, I am about to start joining up the corners of my rectangles and squares to the vanishing point. So again, nice light line right to the corners. Try and be as accurate as you can. So right from the corners, right to the vanishing point. This is when a ruler comes in quite handy. If you've not got a ruler at home, maybe you've got a little thin book that you could use. Got a nice straight edge on this. And these work just as well as rulers. Anything with a straight edge. Not too thick. You want it to be quite thin, just to allow you to get a bit better accuracy. It wasn't that accurate there. So that's the lines from this square done. I could send a line from here, but because I'm going to be drawing a solid cube, I wouldn't actually see that line. That would be behind my object. So I'm just going to leave that one just now. I'm going to draw the lines from this one now, keeping them nice and light. So that one's on the horizon line. So I'm actually only going to see 2 sides. Obviously these 2 lines are going to go behind the object. So I'm not going to add those in either. And then I've got lines from this bottom right one. Right guys, so I've got 3 cubes there, one below the horizon line, one on the horizon line, and one above the horizon line. Not cubes yet, they're kind of almost like I like to think of it as if they're really tall buildings and I'm hovering above the buildings, and that's like the street level down here. But I'm actually going to give these a certain length and depth now to make them cuboids. So I'm going to start with another vertical line here. Again, remember when we were doing the isometrics, it's really important that we get our lines, our vertical lines, absolutely parallel to each other. If not, your shape starts looking a bit wonky. So when I'm going to draw my next line, I'm looking at the line that I've got in the front here. It's a vertical line and a horizontal line. If you are using a ruler, a good trick to get it absolutely parallel is to line up one side of your ruler with your line there, and then I would know that if I drew a line here, it's going to be absolutely parallel to the ones I've got already. Same again across here. I can line my ruler up here, get it nice and parallel to the line that's there already, and just move that down till I'm on my point here. So I'm basically replicating this vertical line and this horizontal line. So it's a vertical line and a horizontal line. And that'd be one cube done. The one that's currently sitting right on the horizon line, well, I've only got one line to add to that. I'm going to make it a bit smaller, but I'm going to add a line here. So actually all I'm seeing of this cube is this face and this face. And I'm going to do the one below here. I'll make that a different size again. Again, I'm looking at the shape that I've got on the front. It's exactly the same shape on the back, being a cube. So it's straight up and straight across. So straight up and straight across. So you should have just used a nice light construction line so far. We would then go and do our bold outline on these, and hopefully they'll begin to stand out. Remember a little rule about what lines should be dark. Imagine Boris the spider crawling over your shape. Any line he crawls over, and you could still see him, that remains a light line. Any line he crawls over and he would disappear, that should become a dark line. So I'm just going to add that bold outline in now. You can use a ruler for this, or you can go freehand. I'm a bit of a fan of the freehand style of drawing. I quite like a little bit of a wobble on some of the lines and things. Still trying to keep it nice and neat though. Dylan, if you're watching this, I would really like to see some of your drawings where you've maybe not used a ruler. I know it can be a bit of a challenge sometimes, but sketching is certainly part of the graphic communication course. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, if you've watched this video, it'd be great to hear from you. You can leave a comment down below the video. Leave a little message for me on the Google Classroom. It'd be great to hear from you guys. So there's our level 1 1-point perspective cubes. Quite nice. Get the sense that they're different sizes, floating. They kind of look like they're floating in the air now. But the cube is the starting point for quite a lot of what we would do in design, manufacturing, graphic communication. So that'd be our level 1 challenge. Let's try do some 1-point perspective shapes that are maybe a little bit more of a challenge. So I'm going to do my level 2 sort of around about here, and then I'm going to do something for a level 3 challenge across here. So guys, for level 2, I drew an isometric chair the other day. So I think I'm going to draw basically the same chair again in 1-point perspective, just so we can see the difference of what the two look like. I think I prefer isometric drawings. I think they look a little bit more realistic than 1-point perspective, but we can see what you think once we get them both done. So essentially, I'm going to try and draw this out again, and I'm going to project it to a 1-point perspective. So I think I'm going to draw my chair down here. So I'm going to do, remember we did did the chair as an isometric crate. Crating out works for any of the pictorial views really. It can be a useful tool. So really I'm kind of making a crate here for my chair to sit in. I'm just going to project that across now. Doing this freehand now because I know some of you guys might not have all the tools at home. When I'm drawing my freehand lines, I'm drawing them super light and just projecting them up. I'm looking from here to here and it's just a nice light line, trying to keep it as straight as possible. So again, when we're creating things out, I'm trying to imagine the box that a chair would come in for Christmas. So I'm trying to get the proportions right for it, not too long, not too short, so somewhere in the sort of sweet spot in between. So I'm going to say something like that. That's going to be the depth of my chair. Now, once you've got your crate for your chair, I would say my seat's going to be about the halfway point. And I'm just going to try and sketch out, again for a 1 point perspective, you can draw the shape just as an elevation and then project your lines across to the vanishing point. That should make it 3D. So my chair last time, it kind of came out at the back a little bit, kicked back to where the foot was going to be. This is going to become the back. I'm going to put a little bit of a curve in it last time. I thought it looked a bit uncomfortable, so I'm going to carve that out a bit. That's where the seat's going to be. I'm going to bring that in just a little bit. Bring my leg out like so. And then last time we had that kind of curvy shape in between our legs, so that's what I'm going to do again. You can see I've got a side view of a chair sketched into that cube now. And what I'm going to do is start projecting my lines across. I like to rotate my pad, so hopefully it stays on screen. Feel free to move your paper about. I'm trying to keep it all in one place, but naturally I want to rotate my paper as I'm drawing just to make it more comfortable. So this line's going up to the vanishing point. The corners will go up to the vanishing point. I'm going to use my ruler for this, make sure I'm pretty accurate. I would see this leg disappearing off underneath the chair, so I'm going to add that line in. All lines should be nice light construction lines still, till we're sure about where things are going to be. Now, here I've not actually got a corner that I can project across, but I want to replicate the curve that I've put in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce from here where I think the start and end of my curves are. I'm going to project them up to my vanishing point. Right guys, so I think I can pretty much finish off this chair from the lines that I've got. Now, just with our 1 point perspective cubes, it's the same shape on the back as it is at the front. So this line here is replicated here. Now, I basically want to replicate this shape on the back here. Obviously, it's getting a bit smaller as it goes into the distance. So that's why I've projected these lines across. I can use those as kind of targets to hit when I'm drawing my curves and things. So when I want to draw the back of this chair, it's going to come down from here. And when I'm drawing the back of the chair, I'm looking at the front of the chair because it's not straight up and down. I've got a little bit of an angle here. So my line's going to come out from here, same angle as this, parallel to that. So I know the end of my chair finishes about here. It comes, so I'm looking at this point, it comes flat across here. And then I'm going to have a curve that gradually curves up to here. And I'm trying to match that curve. So it comes up and up like so. Couple more little things I want to put on this just to finish it off. So this line would be projected up to here. And then it actually goes in a little bit. So again, it's going to go in a little bit and it's going to be lost underneath the lip of the chair there. Right guys, so I've kind of sketched it in, tried to keep it as light as possible. Once you get your little chair design in, I'm just going to go over it in a bold outline again. So this would be a bold outline. Coming up to here would also be a bold outline. Bold outline. Bold outline down here. Come along, it'll be a bold outline down to there. Bold outline underneath this lip. There'll be a bold outline there. This would also be a bold outline. And then same again. Boris the spider, he'd be crawling over my leg here, he'd be disappearing, disappearing, and it gets to about this point, I would still see him. So that dark line you want to just end around about here. Dark line here, and dark line there. Guys, don't be disheartened if you're not getting this first time. Practice makes perfect. There's very few things that we can try first time and get it really good. So if you're finding these difficult, stick with them until you're getting your lines nice and parallel. So it's only vertical lines on this, and then all other lines must go to a vanishing point. Give 2 or 3 of these a little bit of a go until you're quite comfortable. Trying to make it the same shape on the back as at the front, using lines, construction lines to help you with those sizes. So this would be level 1. Level 2. Now I'm going to give some people a level 3 challenge, see how you get on. So from a level 3 challenge, I'm going to do my initials because there's quite a lot going on there, lots of curves and things like that, lots of gaps, lots of openings. I'm just drawing a little square just now, rectangle, just to help me align my letters. So I'm going to go for BR. Trying to keep it nice and light just now. Try and keep your lettering nice and simple. Straight lines, curves where you maybe need them. So the trick with the lettering is I'm just trying to keep all my lines a fairly consistent thickness. It makes it look a bit neater. Maybe go for a little square in here. Right guys, so I've got my initials drawn out there. This would be your level 3 to make these look 3D. So again, I'm going to bounce all these lines back to the vanishing point now. So my corners, I'm going to use a ruler for this so we can get it reasonably accurate. So with the curves, when you're sending a curve back to the vanishing point, I'm going to follow this curve around, and at some point this curve is going to be pointing directly at my vanishing point. That's the bit that I'm looking to add a line from. So I'm going to guess it's going to be around about here. Let's just put a ruler on it. So as I said, at some point this curve is pointing directly towards this vanishing point. So when I'm doing it, I'm keeping my ruler on the vanishing point. I'm going to rotate it around, and then I'm getting close to it now. That's the point there where I can just see the corner of that. I'm fully aligned on my vanishing point. Then I'm just going to send a light line down to there. I would also see a line coming from that bit there. I would also see a line coming from in here. I'm going to come back and finish that. Hopefully it'll look a little bit better than it does just now. And again, I'm going to do my B. So here we are here, bottom corner there. And not a lot of straight lines to work with here. But again, the bottom of the curve of this B at some point is pointing directly towards my vanishing point. That's where I want to add my line in from. Same again up here, at some point, if I draw a better line, that B is pointing, the curve of this B is pointing directly towards this vanishing point, so that's what I'm trying to line up now. There we go there, about there. Probably going to have a little bit of a line coming from there. Right guys, I'm going to try and finish off this 3D shape now. I'm finding it quite hard to pick out my lines here just now, so I'm just going to go over what I know would be a bold outline on this just now. So this would be bold, and at some point down here, it's going to not be bold, around about there. This is going to be bold right around to about here. What I'm going to do is start putting a bit of depth on this. So there's the bottom bits of my two R's go down to the vanishing point. I'm just going to pick out where I want those to end. So I'm looking at this line here, replicating that, comes across, and there's my other line there. From this point, so this is the line here, I'm following it down, so I've got the bottom of this R shape, it's coming along here. I'm looking at the front shape here, it comes across to the bottom of this bit, so it comes across to the bottom of that bit, and then it goes diagonally up to meet this line. So that's what I'm going to do now, I'm trying to match the leg of my R up to here, so it goes up to there, like so. And then I've got a rather large curve that works around up to here. So that's what I'm going to try and add in now. So there we go. I'm just trying to add that curve into here. Important thing when you're adding curves in, hope you can see that your curve should blend right into these straight lines. It shouldn't be a case of, well, there's my straight line and there's my curve and it's an abrupt end. Try and get it so that your curve blends right into your straight line. I'm going to not actually see much of this B, but we'll make it the same depth as this. So this is going to come across here like that. Then I would have a B up here. And most of my B is actually hidden by the R, but we would see a line coming from there. And again from here. And now I'm just going to go over my bold outlines and pick that shape out. It's quite a challenge that. It's got a lot of curves in my name. But give it a go, see how we get on. So again, this would be a dark line round about to here. Same again, dark line to around about here. This would be a dark, bold outline, bold outline, bold outline. Oh, no, it wouldn't be a bold outline there. This would be a bold outline. That would be a bold outline. That would go up here. This is when using construction lines really pays off. Once you start getting lots and lots of projection lines. You really want to be able to pick out your shape from the construction lines. So the way to do that is to use a bold outline. So guys, there we have it. 1 point perspectives. So challenge level 1, you've got 1 point perspective cubes. Challenge level 2 would be to create something a bit more complex. You could try and give a chair a go. You could go for a simpler chair than that, or you could try an even more complex chair if you're wanting a bit more challenge. Level 3 would be your initials done in 1 point perspective. So good luck with that. You can get quite a nice effect just with doing a series of 1 point perspective cubes on a page. There's other things you can try, putting openings and things onto your 1 point perspective cubes. Good luck everybody, hope you're all staying safe, stay at home and learn to sketch with Mr. Raphael, and I'd love to see some of your work sometime, so leave a comment if you want to shout out on one of the videos. It would be great to be able to do that kind of thing, get some audience participation in this. Okay guys, see you all tomorrow.